Good day, good love, good light. Illuminators and wayshowers, thank you. It is in once again divine grace, gratitude, honor, and appreciation that you are joining us in your sharing of our sharing today as we explore our multidimensionality, unity consciousness, light language, and holistic living, and just sharing our lives every day, how we explore all of this and how it's all connected, because everything's connected and everything is part of all that is. And so with that said, thank you for joining us today on this May full flower moon lunar eclipse. Today is May 15th, 2022. And right now, I didn't check the exact time, but it's, I don't know, what time is it? I don't know, maybe about 5:30 p.m. here in Alabama, here in the United States. And Dave and I, if you're new to the channel, I'm Wendy, this is Dave. Thank you for joining us. And one of the exciting things we wanted to share with you guys today is what we've been up to since the new moon. So the new moon was on April 30th. So on May 1st, Dave and I started kind of a little bit of an unexpected project with a garden that we've shared a little bit of video clips with you guys. And so we're really excited about that. And so we have come to the full moon now of completion. So we began the garden, and we almost can't believe it's only been 2 weeks. And so we're really excited to share with all of you what we've done in the last 2 weeks. And one of the projects that we've been working on is one of the ways to actually retain rainwater and to use for planting for the garden. So it sort of became a simultaneous project to not have to use city water that's of course costs money, but also that has chemicals and chlorine, and we would much rather use pure rainwater for all of our gardening needs if we possibly can. So Dave has been doing some research about rainwater retention systems, and I've had a little bit of experience with it myself. So we wanted to really take this few minutes to share with you what he has put together for our home use for rainwater, and how we're going to be adding more of this to around the house and down at the garden. So with that said, I think I'll just let Dave start talking, and we'll go from there.
So welcome to another episode of Homesteading with Dave and Wendy.
Woohoo! Yes, ma'am. Yes, sir.
So, today we're going to talk about the water retention system, and it's been approximately 10 days since we set up our first system, and I wanted to wait until it rained and was able to actually demonstrate how it worked, what I liked about it, what I didn't like about it, how it worked for Wendy, for her needs. But it's been 10 days later, and it still has not rained.
And it actually hasn't rained since before we put the garden in on the first. So
it's been 15 days of no rain,
at least, so.
Which sort of reflects the idea of how nice it would have been to have barrels of water
and
filled up.
Our plan was to
actually
actually have it ready before the garden, but we were excited to about getting the seeds planted, and because we really need to get them in the ground. So
so the first system that I put together, it was supposed to rain that night.
We were so
excited. And it did for about 30 seconds.
It was like we came down here to see, let's watch it fill and how the system works, and it just never even.
Yeah, it thundered and rained for 30 seconds, and then that was it. We had all our stuff set up to sit down by the system to watch it under cover, and it lasted about 30 seconds. Not enough to even measure any actual amount of water that might have gotten collected. So we've been working on the garden, which we shared with you, and we're going to share a little bit more
garden
shortly.
update.
but it still hasn't rained. And every day that it seems to say it might rain, it doesn't rain. So I wanted to wait until the first system operated before I set up the second system. But now we need water for our garden, and we only had one system. So I just decided, okay, I'm going to put together the second system. So when it does rain, we'll have two systems collecting water, and if something needs to be changed, we'll just have to change it. So we want to first just mention that this is a very, very simple system, but it's very well designed and thought out. And we purchased some plumbing pieces in a kit that allows you to take 55-gallon barrel drums and convert them into rainwater collection systems. And part of the advertisement about buying the kits is essentially that they've figured out the best parts to get. They've compiled them together in a kit, so you don't have to go to the hardware store and figure out what fits and what doesn't fit, and what needs to be put together, with thread, and what needs to be put together with normal PVC, and what faucets are the best, and they're all high flow, because you're probably going to get a little stuff in your water from the gutters, and this system eliminates probably almost all of that, but whatever debris you might get in there, you want it to be able to easily come out without having to clean the barrels all the time. So this system is sort of designed to do that, and it's so simple, and I can't wait to actually try it and see how it works. And,
We're just waiting for it to rain, so time to do my rain dance.
So the first system we'd like to show you, and after it rains, I wanted to report to you how well it worked, how much water it actually collects, because it doesn't collect 100% of the water that comes through the gutter. But the engineers who designed the system have figured out that the majority of the clean water that comes down the gutter is more along the outside, because the nature of water is it wants to cling to a surface. So as the water goes into the gutter, the solid particles sort of drop out and fall down the gutter more toward the center, and the clearer water travels down the sides of the gutter until, depending on how much volume you have, of course. So the system is collecting the water from around the outside of the inside of the gutter. And the way it's also designed is, once the barrels fill up, now the overflow, instead of overflowing out of your tank, will just continue down the gutter as normal. And I was hoping to witness some of this for myself, to compare how much water is actually coming out of the gutter to how much is going into the barrel, just sort of by eye, because we have a big pail underneath the gutter, so we could see water's in the pail, how much water's in the barrels, and then I would be able to intelligently describe to you what my findings were, and if I would recommend them, or parts of them or not parts of them. But I can't do that because it hasn't rained. So
I do.
We do want to show you what
the
we
system.
have.
I wanted to say something too about synchronicity, about how part of our channel is talking about, when you're following your highest joy and excitement is when the more of the synchronicity doors open for us, and when we're, when we put something out there, to know that the universe is going to answer. And it was really interesting because we had been considering already and researching for a couple months now this particular company, and going to buy the barrels, and so it was interesting that the timing wasn't right yet for us to get them, and so it just so happened that our neighbor came into a situation where he happened to come across these barrels and asked us if we wanted to purchase them from him. So the interesting part about this situation too is that the company does sell the barrels, correct? That we bought the hardware from.
They provide a way to buy them.
Okay.
From
So
from businesses that have food grade barrels that they've bought things in, like syrup or
right,
you know,
exactly.
whatever
And
grade
food grade things.
And they have an empty barrel and they don't know what to do with them, so they've made deals with businesses all over the country to you buy them through the website and you get a little piece of paper that you take to the place, the closest one to you, and
and collect the
and
barrels.
then you collect the barrels.
Okay. So I wanted to add. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
The closest one to us, and I think they have some closer now.
Oh yeah, it was.
But it's still a couple hours away.
It was a couple hours drive.
And if you want more than a couple barrels, you need someplace to put them.
You have to have we happen to have a trailer which we could actually put them in, but not everybody has that.
We were hoping not to have a whole day trip of driving for hours with the trailer, filling the trailer up with empty barrels, having to come back. And so synchronicity happened to
so once again, sometimes
friend.
The delay in things is a gift from your higher self and your guides to say it just isn't time yet because we have a better surprise for you. So I wanted to mention that too, that you can acquire your own barrels. You don't have to buy theirs. You don't have to buy necessarily, but we would suggest that yes, they would be food grade, and that because if you're going to be watering the garden, and I'm not talking about drinking this water, but nonetheless that you wouldn't want to be having any chemicals, going into the land. So
yes, the barrels didn't really cost us anything, but we paid essentially for our buddy to, his time to go pick them up and deliver them.
And he brought them here.
He brought them here
so,
for us on his truck and flatbed.
Yes.
So synchronicity provided us what we needed when we needed it, and he also happened to bring us
that was before
that. Yeah, a 25-foot length of
like
a
week prior that he's had picked up some things and just dropped this big piece of PVC off and I said, well, I'm sure we'll find a use for it. Well, it turned out to be the perfect use for this particular project. So again, put it out there, and really the universe does provide. We don't always know how or where or when, but
so with no further ado,
so I'm gonna switch the camera. And so I can show you guys the system here. And I'm going to back up a bit because I got to back up so you guys can see the whole thing. And Dave, maybe you can kind of talk about, I don't know if you want to stand up there. So what I wanted to show you guys is this blue barrel right here is what I was already collecting water in from the downspout. And so I just happened to be watering the plants out of that. And I also happen to have a lot of flowers around the house in potted plants and so forth. So we wanted to have systems all the way around the house at different stages, if you will, to have water access at different levels of the house. So I wanted to add that as well. So there we are. I see you, Dave.
So these particular barrels, there are vents on the top, which allows when the water fills in for the air to come out.
I was going to show everybody on the top if you wanted to. It's hard for me to see because I'm pretty short. Oh, I see it. The little metal.
Yep.
Okay.
There are screens on the vents that prevent stuff from getting in the barrel. And then there's a fitting here that you push a rubber baffle, and the water collects in here and goes into the barrel, fills the barrel. On the bottom of the barrel, you have some plumbing, and the technical term would be there's a manifold, which essentially there are pipes that go down from the bottom of the barrel. They connect all together, and that allows the water from each barrel to equalize and fill equally on both, however many barrels you have. And then you have water spouts to be able to get the water out of it.
So I also wanted to add, Dave, actually these came white, these particular barrels, and so we talked about what colors we might want to paint them, because they do need to be opaque to keep the sunlight out, to just keep algae and things from growing in there. So we looked at a bunch of different colors and decided on the sage green. So so what Dave did is he simply taped this off, so that when he painted them, we would have a clear stripe, and actually then you can actually see the water level,
I believe it's about right here.
which it's really hard to tell right now, but
filling it with the hose.
yeah. So he just filled it with the hose to test it to make sure that the fittings didn't leak and so forth. So
you could plumb it however you want. This is the basic plumbing, and your particular location is going to help determine where you want the faucets to be, how high you want things to be. Now the barrels being as high up as possible gives you clearance for putting something under here, because if you have a watering can, you need to fit the watering can underneath to fill it.
and a lot of people don't elevate it as high, and it is really nice to be able to, and we tested it, to be able to put a large bucket and or a watering can under here is very, very helpful.
So they're supposed to be level with each other. They're not. None of them are exactly, because our driveway isn't level. We used the things that we had as best as we could to set up the systems.
Oh, by the way, our friend also brought cinder blocks.
Some cinder blocks.
Interesting. I forgot to mention that. That it was also part of the beautiful synchronicity and law of attraction is he also brought cinder blocks, which we needed more of as well.
So on this system, and like I said, you could plan out the plumbing how you want, but this particular system, you have a drain line with a fitting that a hose will fit on, and this is the lowest part of the system, so this will drain everything, and this is slightly angled down to help facilitate getting it all out, and then just your normal faucet also with a hose fitting. And
So yes, they have hose fittings on them too, so that we can actually run a hose off of them.
so this is not a pressure system, so it's just using gravity.
Gravity, right.
To let the water out. And this particular one is set up so this faucet is close to the very bottom of the barrel, so when you open this up, you're going to be able to empty all the water down to the bottom of the barrel. It's not going to empty this, but if we needed to empty this, you could empty it.
I'm going to kind of scooch in here so you can so I can show everybody. I don't know how well they can see inside of here, but I wanted to show everybody actually how the plumbing runs sort of between the barrels, to get a really clear understanding. It's like you said, it's actually very simple, but I just wanted to show everybody how he's got it set up here, so that you can really see. I'll come all the way around, and I just have a screen on here just to keep junk out.
And on this side,
oh yeah,
there's just the cap with a little extra long pipe here in case I ever wanted to cut this and extend it or whatever. It's ready to do.
And we'll get a kind of a so that's really the gist of it on the back here. So I just wanted you guys to see everything all the way through and around, and how he threaded it through, and how the fitting looks. So it's actually pretty. It's a pretty interesting system. Oh, here's the barrels that we started with, and he's got the.
So the typical bulkhead fittings for these kinds of barrels have two tops on them, and one top is a fine thread, which is just the cap. Exactly what they're used for, they're different purposes for the different barrels, for whatever the thing is for. Sometimes pumps are submerged into them to pump out the stuff. But the other cap, and I don't know if you could see.
You want me here? I can zoom in here. Let me
The
zoom
other
in.
cap.
Okay. Do you want to? You can show the other one too, and because I'm zoomed in now.
The other cap, it's also a full cap, but it's got a threaded insert in here, which you drill out, and now you could thread in a 3/4 inch threaded pipe fitting. Oops. Into here, and when the barrel is upside down, that becomes the pipe that you plumb the system into. So knowing the type of fittings and the type of pipes, and the kit came with new versions of these, because you don't always get these with the barrels, but I got them with the barrels.
Oh, and there's
so
the
I've got
piece of
extra.
there's the piece of PVC that he brought.
So essentially there's a union on the bottom, so you could disconnect the manifold from underneath if you need to remove the barrels. You could plumb them so you could shut off each barrel individually, or you could isolate them individually. We just, for these systems, are just simple 2-barrel systems, so I didn't plumb them to isolate them, because there's not a lot of good logical reason to have more complicated plumbing for just 2 barrels, so we didn't overcomplicate things. So like I said, we did this setup first, and it hasn't rained, and it hasn't rained. And
So we can't even tell you.
so now we have a garden now started. We need more water. We don't want to use the hose, or if we can. So we didn't wait, and I put together a second system,
Which we'll
we're gonna
show you
walk
right over
around
there.
with.
And I wanted to show you guys too that now this particular one's going to have a lot of square footage, because it's got this drain and this downspout. So that is to be taken into consideration too, as we talk about the the one that we want to put down by the garden, about the square footage of calculating the square footage for what the needs would be to actually be able to fill the tank.
So supposedly, people have said, with these types of systems, one rain fills
Yep,
a
and it
couple
does.
barrels. So we'll see if that actually happens.
And I've harvested rainwater before, where we had almost 900 gallons of water, and really one good rain would fill them up pretty quickly, like within a few minutes. It was astounding, actually. So here we'll kind of come and we'll walk around the side here. And now we have a lot of elevations here, and we have a lot of projects here too. We're still working on painting the stairs there, which those are the stairs that we replaced, and Dave actually used the extra wood to build the boxes.
The old wood from the old.
The old wood from the old stairs he used to build the boxes for the garden bed. So we're kind of walking around the side here in our little walkabout here.
System.
So here's the second one.
The plumbing is a little bit different on this one, because it's a different location. We raised it up an extra cinder block, an extra cap of the cinder block, so it would be a little bit higher, be able to access it a little bit easier. And also, the lower the faucet is from the barrel, theoretically it'll flow a little bit faster coming out. So instead of this spigot being up here a little bit, it's a little bit lower, but we wanted to have a lot of room down here
Yeah.
to be able to put a bucket.
We wanted the gravity feed.
So the other thing is, we may want to run a hose from here down to the garden, which we'll take a walk down shortly.
Yeah, we'll
To either use the hose to water the garden, or to use the hose to fill more barrels down at the garden. So the idea at the moment is, until we have a collection system in place down by the garden, which requires some kind of roof to collect the water, that the gutter here is going to fill these barrels and dump the water down to the other barrels, and it will fill those barrels up, and then we could shut this off and let these barrels fill up. Now, exactly how there's a couple different ways that we thought about doing that a little bit more automatically, but for the moment, once we get to that point, I might just run out here in the rain and shut it off when it looks like it's full, because it'll be pretty darn exciting. We've seen videos of people who set up different water collection systems, and everyone is really excited about it and can't wait for it to rain, and it usually doesn't rain for a while after they've finished it. So they typically have to say, and I'll do another video once.
Once it rains.
But as you see, here I put a little bit of water in to test for leaks. This is a connector here, which is a main cutoff, which if we want to add more barrels this way, which we might, then I could just connect into this. And then we have this spigot here, which will be the main spigot, and then there's another clean out and another spigot on the other side that could go toward possibly putting a hose going toward the front of the yard to water there. But this is basically water coming out.
Nice. So I wanted to add to that, the downspouts themselves now, because they don't go directly into the barrel, also will still need their own overflow. So once the tanks are full, the water just keeps pouring out. So that can also be collected as much as you can collect it, even as I said with the open barrel. So now I've even got an open barrel, and it's probably, I think that barrel's 20 gallons or 30 gallons, those blue thing, that little blue tubby thing. And so that even has enough to help, water the flowers. And so, and because now you guys can see, we have quite the elevation here. So it kind of gives you a better perspective of the garden's down there. So it's a pretty good walk and an incline down there. But that's to our favor. So all of this is going to be kind of a really cool grand experiment to see, how this all works out. But we're really excited about also adding more barrels to around the other side of the house. Oh, well, we've got the barrels for the other side of the house, and then to add some more down.
And we don't.
So yeah, I'm not sure.
We don't have barrels. We only have 2 more barrels left. So
yeah.
We plan to put them up here at the house. Who knows? We might set up those 2 barrels down at the garden.
I think we might do that too. First. I was thinking about that, is just set up the 2 down there first and then see if this works to get at least a little bit of water down to the garden. But
we'll put the word out to get some more barrels.
And we also have blueberries down there, which we currently either carry water down to or to run the hose down there. So and so we did buy a couple of extra hoses to be able to get down there.
So we're going to take a walk, and we'll show you our walk to our garden. And while we're doing that, I will talk about the ideas of the water collection. So of course we would like, you want to put it the other way so people could see the walk.
Okay. I wasn't sure if you wanted the attention on your Okay, here we go. So there's our trailer. So this is the pile of wood from the stairs, which Dave contemplated which pieces to use and take for to make the garden boxes. And there's another pile of wood.
Some step pieces and a couple other pieces are.
And there's a little piece of tin that was brought over, and
there's our garden, our path that
so
we discovered under.
It's hard to show here. It's hard to see here, but we discovered that once we started cleaning, that there's actually, I guess it's really more of a waterway. It's really meant to be a waterway because there's a little drain there. So it's kind of fun.
Of course, we want to collect water, and we want to use rainwater that is, it's not drinkable, but it's pretty clean, especially for watering your garden and plants. But when it does rain, there's a lot of water that pretty much just washes through the gutters.
Washes away,
and it seems pretty ridiculous when we need water for all these purposes to just watch it roll down the driveway and down our little flume. And yes, it does feed the field and a lake over the hill a little bit, but it just doesn't make sense to not try to collect and use as much water as we can. And the other thing too is there's erosion.
Yes.
that we've been trying to figure out how to best deal with. So by collecting as much of that water that's collecting from our roof, instead of the water going down the hill and eroding whatever it wants to go through, we want to collect it or plant things that will use the water.
And it's hard to tell the perspective, I think, on camera, but up here is actually, I think, in this flat spot up here is, we can give you a little perspective, because it's even elevated here down, from here down to the garden actually. And so we were actually thinking about putting the little rain barrel system right up here on this little hill, and as you can see, there's the garden.
We could set up a drip irrigation system, because as long as the barrels are higher than the garden, gravity will feed a drip irrigation system, or even just a hose that we want to use, so we don't have to fill buckets or watering cans.
And we do have also the peach tree is back there, and then the fig is over there next to it. So so also we've been, having to water that as well. So it's been really exciting, you guys. And the amazing thing to me, now I've gardened in the past and grown, a couple tomato plants and a couple peppers and things like that, but I've never had a garden on this scale, and I've never done gardening like just from seed. I've always bought the plants and planted them. And so I cannot believe, seriously, since I started, now May 1st, I did a quick video of as we started planting. So these are the beds that Dave constructed out of our old staircase, and so we'll see how long they last, but I can't even believe how quickly things are already sprouting. So I just wanted to give everybody just a little tour, because I'm really excited to share while this grows, and to share it with all of you. And we get so excited when we come out here in the morning to water, and we see these sprouts, so things are, I just can't even believe it, how quick things sprout. And these have only been, these seeds we planted only a few days ago. And so this is a summer squash mix. And over here, so we've got summer squash here, we've got winter squash here, I've got some carrots, mixed rainbow carrots with the purple and the all the different colors, yellow, and all. They're so good.
And we see sprouts on the carrots, but not that many. They're tiny.
But they're coming up, and now the radishes come up first, and I think these actually sprouted in like 2 days or something, like 2 or 3 days. So we're getting really excited to see. It's like, so I have this renewed appreciation for food now, because now when I look at it, say any piece of fruit, vegetable, every tiny seed is an entire plant. And this is what's so crazy is every little seed creates an entire plant that creates a whole lot of veggies. So we've got couple different kinds of lettuces and spinach and radishes and some red onions and some green walking onions and another lettuce mix over here. And back there we've planted that one we just got to today. Actually, we planted cantaloupe back here to climb the fence. I've got in these pots carrots, and then I've also got broccoli and cauliflower in these pots. This is an entire herb garden. So I've got several different kinds of herbs, and I'm still adding things, and I've got a couple herbs growing around the house. So even some of these are just now starting to pop up. So it's really, really, really exciting. It is. It's like everyone is like a tiny little baby. This is going to be our potato box. So I'm going to be planting some potato seeds in there. And then we just put these in. When did, like, what? Like 2 days ago? And look, they're already sprouting. Seriously. They're already sprouting. So, and as you can see, this is not a fancy garden. We tilled what we could, but these are just, we dug, Dave dug the holes, and then I just filled it with amended soil and everything. All of my, all of the what's the word I'm looking for? That I amended, the compost, is all available to me, all back here. So I've been taking all of this and out here and just collecting all of this beautiful compost and leaf mold and everything, and bringing it into the garden and mixing it in the soil. And I'm telling you, these plants love it. I can't even believe it in 2 days, how quick. And the corn. So over here we have corn. I'm very excited. So the corn's also already sprouting. And the corn sprouted really quick too. And I've actually got pictures of every day, so I know the timestamps of all of when we planted everything.
So almost everyone sprouted.
But the corn, I think we planted pretty like first, right, like the 2nd of May or something, 2nd or 3rd of May. So it's amazing.
Well, it was after we got the tiller.
Yeah.
And after I built the boxes.
After, right. So then we planted. So we planted some of the corn, and then we were actually doing staggered planting, and so that they'll come up in a little bit of a succession. And then so he just planted more corn today, and this is an experiment. Dave had some really old seeds of corn that he had from, I don't know, a long time ago. Yeah. So we were just seeing, but so far nothing's sprouted. We've got a couple little sprouts, which are really the companion plants. I think those are probably morning glories coming up. So, so far nothing's sprouted, but so if not, we're just going to continue on with the same corn. We just wanted to see if it would actually sprout, but really you're only supposed to have one kind of corn anyway at a time, so you're not cross-pollinating. So anyway, over here, we just planted some sugar baby watermelon. So that's going to be all supported here by the fence. And the grapevines, we've done I think a video or two on these, and so they're starting to get taller and starting to get some little the little viney things on them. So we'll be getting those getting the wire ready for those as they grow up. And I'll already here, and it's only been a couple of days here, we've already got some peas coming up. And so these are variety. Excuse me. One variety. Here's the Oregon sugar pea pods, the sugar snap peas, and I just can't believe it. I just cannot believe how in just a few days all of this is already. Oh yeah, and then and so we're gonna have some thinning to do, but it's just so exciting to come out here every morning and to see what new baby plants are born. So I absolutely love this, and I'm so inspired by so many of you guys out there who are gardening and sharing your videos of your beautiful flowers and your vegetables. And I'm so inspired by all these YouTubers and homesteaders who are sharing their trials and errors and joys and sorrows and all of the things that come with gardening and homesteading and experimenting. And I'm heartwarmed, and I want to start sharing more clips, or more links to videos of people who inspire me, because I just feel like, they inspired me, and we hope that this inspires hopefully just one of you to get excited about getting your hands in the soil, starting a garden, starting anything you can, anywhere that you can, even if it's in a little pot. So yes, I wanted to get down here too. I can't even believe this, you guys, the pumpkins. So these are sugar baby pumpkins, and we just planted those seeds a couple of days as well. So, everything that we've done in here, we've done since May 1st. These are hot and sweet and hot peppers. And over here today we planted
No sprouts yet of the
the yeah, the peppers haven't sprouted yet. And then these I put in butternut squash today. We have and we'll talk. This is an anthill, which we've done a lot of research lately on anthills, and even Navajo Wally told a story about how he learned that you do not disturb anthills, and then so we started looking things up about their purpose in the garden, and I'm telling you guys, it was pretty crazy. It's so beautiful to know how everything has its own divine purpose and how it helps the garden, helps the soil. So they're not going anywhere. So and we do organic gardening. And so don't use pesticides, chemicals, herbicides, anything like that. You'll see a lot of eggshells in the garden as well. So here's our tomato plants.
So our neighbor showed up with,
so that was another thing.
With tomato plants.
So he saw me out here gardening, and he offered the use of his tiller. And this is a different neighbor, and than the one that gave us the barrels. And so he also gifted us with some 4 tomato plants as well. So that was very exciting, and a lot of flowers. And so I've been also potting up a lot of flower pots. So getting excited about watching them grow as well. So we've got our 4 tomato plants here. I know they're a little hard to distinguish, but I wanted to see so you guys could see how tall they are today. And then there's the grapes. These are Concord grapes on there. And then these are more of the broccoli and cauliflower. And they're big, so really you only can put one head, really one seed in each 12-inch pot. But, I've got a lot of extra pots too, so I can add a lot. I'll be adding a lot more of these too, but I wanted to concentrate on getting things in the garden. So
yeah, we've been figuring out how to best use the space and best use the fence that exists already by putting the things that grow vertically or can grow vertically along the fence to hopefully use the fence for that.
And we have more of these posts outside the fence too. So if we wanted to, we could actually add more climbing veggies and things, which we may actually do outside the fence to share with nature, to share with the animals, to share with neighbors and friends. And thank you all of you who joined with us as we did our first blessing of our garden, and I'm very excited to have all of you share with us the growing of our garden and our excitement in doing it, and our trials and tribulations and fun and failures as well. But so far it's been a huge success no matter what. So really it doesn't matter what makes it and what doesn't make it. What matters is that we all just try that, and there is no try, there's do or do not. And it's funny because we weren't really actually going to start on this kind of a scale, and it was like this, I don't know, it was like this instinct, this pull that said, you've got the space here that we were blessed with.
We followed our excitement
and just
one little bed to put some stuff in turned into all of what we're showing you now.
Yeah, I had a whole bunch of seeds in my hand, and Dave's like, okay,
this is the face that I made.
He was like, so we're going to start a big garden, right? And I'm like, well, I want one of everything, so we're either in or we're not. So, hey, we're decided to, once again, you guys, just jump in and...
So, we've got lots of things growing, and there was some thought put into the types of things, but yeah, it's sort of like one of everything.
What did I miss? I missed our cucumbers. We have cucumbers over back here.
Oh,
I forgot about that. The cucumbers, that's what the cucumbers.
Didn't we just do that yesterday?
I was like, that's what I was showing before. I was like, oh wait, those are the cucumbers. I forgot to mention that. Yes, I mean, like we just planted them. Wasn't it yesterday?
Yesterday
No.
or the day before.
It's like I can't even believe it now. It's how quick this stuff is sprouting. So it's clearly loving this spot here. It is in the sun all day, facing south. So it's very exciting to share all of this with you. So we appreciate you watching all or any part of this, and hope that it inspires you guys, even if you're just collecting a little bucket of water, you know, no matter where you can and how you can, and collect some rainwater. And I even told Dave, I said I want to collect some for myself and, you know, put it in a bottle or come out and rinse my hair in it, because I tell you, there is nothing that nothing that our hair loves better in our body and our skin than rainwater. So the magic of the water that comes from from the cosmos. We're gonna head up back to the house.
We're going to head up back to the house.
Alrighty.
And we're going to contemplate what other kinds of things we're going to be doing for this special day.
And this flower moon and total lunar eclipse. And actually, we're gonna try to see it tonight. It's getting a little cloudy here, but I guess a lot of us across the world will be able to see it. So it's going to be very exciting. So perhaps we'll sit outside and if we can, do a video outside and maybe have a fire. And we've been collecting a little firewood from around the house, and so we'll see if we have a little bit to do a quick video, and share that with you guys too.
Oh, and let's also share very quickly, if you want to take a look at the front yard.
Mm-hmm.
We don't really know the state of the property before we got it, but we could tell that the soil needed some help.
Yes, I was going to talk about that too.
Oh, look at that big flower sticking up. Big purple flower.
Where is it? Oh!
So,
that's actually, I think, the thistle.
Yeah, that does look like.
Yeah, I think that's the thistle.
So in following our excitement, information flows to us. So part of our highest joy is thinking about replenishing the soil and what's best for the land and what's best for the gardening and so forth. So the way it sort of works is the information comes to you in various different ways. Typically the path of least resistance, which might be just going on YouTube and looking up stuff, and sometimes it might be a neighbor dropping by and telling you something, or randomly seeing something. But essentially, we came across a video about dandelions and what they tell you about the condition of your soil, and also how dandelions are very beneficial for the soil.
I'll put the link to it if
And if they show up, it's for a reason, and it's not to cut them down, it's to let them do their job, and when their job is over, they stop growing on their own. You don't have to kill the dandelions. But one of the things that we're doing is sort of letting nature take back over the soil for a little bit to get it back into the condition that it really should be, fertile and so forth. We also enjoy seeing what's growing naturally. Some of it I'm going to probably have to weed whack a little bit, but we don't own a lawnmower at this point, so I can't just go mow the lawn. But it turns out that at least some people believe that it is beneficial to the soil to let these plants do the things that they do. They're growing there because there's a reason for them to grow there, and unless you get some kind of invasive species coming in and doing stuff that they're not meant to do, all these naturally occurring wildflowers, wild plants, things that look like weeds but they might not actually be weeds, they're all helping the soil turn back into fertile land, in which then you could plant flowers or plant whatever you want to plant. Loosens the soil, brings calcium up from beneath. Our soil is pretty hard and clay, so that helps aerate the soil, just like the ants help aerate the soil, loosen things up. So we're sort of allowing nature to reclaim some of the land to get it back into shape, and it's pretty cool to see the things that start growing when you don't mow it once a
Yeah,
week.
we just wanted to see what are the native grasses, what are the native plants that grow here, and to begin to appreciate them. And one of the things that in my own discovery, and this sort of moves into the idea of, plant medicine and herbs, and that idea is that the wild violets grow here like crazy, and I never knew until I started doing a little, researching on YouTube, and here I find people have been making wild violet jelly for years, and all of and how wonderful it tastes, and dandelion jelly. And so it's like I'm so excited to explore that and to watch them collect these beautiful teeny tiny violets and then create something wonderful for our bodies from it. So I'm very excited about exploring more of these things as well. So, and there's so many wonderful people out there sharing their own love and joy of nature and the earth. And I'm so astounded, truly, when I listen to these people about how everything that we need is here to help our bodies with absolutely everything, and in its natural form is the best way.
And some of these I mean, it's pretty amazing to watch some of these grasses, and we're essentially out in the country, so we don't have to cut our lawn. Nobody's going to complain. But some of these grasses right here, I mean, I think they grew a foot or two within the last day or so.
Yeah.
Because we just drove through here the other day,
and there was it wasn't
pick
very
up the
high at
cinder
all.
blocks, and it wasn't that high. So all of a sudden, I'll probably, in areas that we
Where we walk, we'll
stuff,
make pathways, but for the most part, we really just wanted to let it be and let it grow as naturally as it could, and replenish the soil and add the nitrogen and add the root systems that are missing, and so forth. So we're really, really excited about exploring all of this, and appreciate all of you who appreciate all of this with us. Oh, and I wanted to mention too, we already have a bunch of blueberries on the blueberry bushes. A whole bunch.
So we would prefer to be in a reality where all the animals and the bugs and whatever share the food with us. And yet we do have a fence around the blueberries because we happen to have a fence. And we have deer that come visit us. And we have turkeys that come visit us in our yard.
And the fox squirrel.
And a fox squirrel.
He's
who
so
likes
cool.
Beer. And there's a bunny rabbit on the bottom of the flume.
Oh, there is. Let me see if I can zoom in, you guys.
So now we know we have rabbits that are going to join us
bunny,
in our garden.
Oh.
Just like that video we saw today.
I was just going to say, we just saw a video about a bunny rabbit today. Oh, that's so cute. And she's got an update too about the bunny rabbit that she found in the garden. Oh, I
think that's the first bunny rabbit.
That's the first one I've seen.
So,
oh, you guys! Oh my God!
We want to share our fruits and vegetables with the wildlife, and we prefer our reality to be one where everyone gets to share it equally. So hopefully the birds are going to save some for us, and we're going to save some for the birds with the blueberries. I prefer to not have to put nets over them and do all that other stuff. The same with the garden. We're going to see how that goes. We do have a fence around the garden, but we do plan to also leave some stuff for the deer and plant some things for the deer. And I'm not sure exactly how that will go, but we might have a big gigantic pumpkin patch in the back of our yard, maybe the front of the yard.
Not quite sure.
Not sure exactly what we're going to do, but and there's one of those yellow finches on the
They're
bird
so
feeder in the back.
beautiful. Oh my God, the goldfinches are so pretty. You
And it's
probably
coming
can't.
right toward us.
Well, I was gonna say, I don't know if I can see it from here.
It's in the tree now.
Even, yeah, there's that feeder. Oh, I'll tell you what. Nope, I can see it pretty well. I mean, even at this distance, I can sort of see it there, the feeder. Oh, they're so pretty, the yellow.
So it's fun and exciting for us to watch the birds and the hummingbirds. And we put our little fountain out front. And Wendy set all up. And we've got to watch some birds taking baths and drinking. Mostly drinking. I want to see.
Oh, and there's a bunch of wild turkey that come out here and out here in the field and eat, and it's fun to watch them and hear them.
Yeah, they came right up our front yard.
Oh yeah, that's right. That's right. The other morning they were right here, up here gobbling up some stuff. Gobble gobble. But it's really exciting for me to see a lot of. There's just daisies popping up everywhere, and I've also been planting lots and lots of seeds myself to enjoy them for coming the years to come. So, and I've been that's another thing we've been doing too, using the plant identifier on Google. So I've been just taking pictures and identifying a bunch of plants on the property, and then Dave's also been using the bird identifier app, which is really cool. So you just play it, you let it listen to the bird, and then it tells us what birds that we're hearing. So it's been a lot of fun exploring all of this, and I think a lot of people in the last few years are, really coming back into touch with nature and all of this, and there's this big resurgence, and it's not new really, but this newer resurgence of understanding the freshness of food and growing your own food if you can, or at least as close to home as possible, and it's funny because when I was guided to do, because like many of us, we don't watch television, we don't watch the news, we don't, we do know what's going on in the world, but we don't focus on those things. And so when we were guided to start the garden, I had no idea that there was like a food shortage thing like maybe happening. So I really didn't. And so it's wonderful to know that we're guided to do these things and to follow our highest joy and take it as far as you can, just as far as you can. And that's really all we're asked to do, is just take everything, every moment, and just take it as far as you can in that moment, no matter what it is, whether you're enjoying, the bird song or coffee or, the reading a magazine or taking a walk. It doesn't matter what you're eating, give it everything. Be passionate about being passionate. And that's what's really exciting for me, is to share this together, this passion about being passionate about even the littlest things, and how excited that Dave gets to, let's go down to the garden in the morning and let's go see what's new popping up. So it feels like they are, God's children, just like we are. And it's amazing, this beautiful, beautiful cycle and circle that we all create together. So I know this is a longer video than we intended, but I thank you once again for sharing in our joy, and we invite you to share your joys with us. And I've got a lot of other things going on in my life as well. So all of these things are soothing for the soul, and truly food for our souls. So I think I'll just end it with a quick blessing, and thank you once again to all of you. Anything else?
When it rains, we'll update you on our rain barrels.
Nisebishono Eliasabore Eshankiala Lambotovela Elekisamonoso Plantiano Nianava Kilabiashono Reala Kila Lavionoria Ekeshasano Plontor Ushea Laindaria So Toviana. And one of the things I heard so many years ago, gosh, I don't even remember when I was very young, bloom, bloom where you are planted. Nia dove satoveshe, nia noa kia satoveshe no kayana.
Wa hea na ki ka ne tuaya. Ne no tuaya na te ia ka ne wata. Ne tua hai na te e tua na ni te ata na tu. Ne te ua hana e ka ne o te tua na e wanga. Tua hana ne wa hata. Ha ne tuaya na te ua.
Nia toe. We love you guys. Thank
Love you.
you.